Komo News at 11 starts now.
I just don't understand how that park is considered not a nuisance.
New at 11, after Seattle cleared out a homeless camp at Denny Park, people in other neighborhoods are asking if the same thing can be done with encampments near their parks. The tents came down after weeks of intensive outreach.
And now the Project Seattle team is looking into whether the strategy will be used in other city parks. Komo's Joel Moreno live tonight at the Ballard Commons, where an encampment continues to grow. Joel?
Preston and Mary, tents as well as RVs line almost the entire perimeter here at the Commons. It's been this way for months now. It's got some neighbors wondering why the city took decisive action at Denny Park, but it is business as usual here. The daily struggle to survive plays out for all to see at Ballard Commons, and the people camping say the hardships seem to have no end.
They're all hurting. They're all having some mental problems.
But the many problems associated with this tent community also takes a toll on the surrounding neighborhood.
This isn't safe or good for anybody, right? Like, it's not good for the people living at the parks. It's not good for residents that are unable to use their park spaces.
Erica Nagy says when she learned city officials had ordered all tents to be removed from Denny Park, following weeks of working with the campers to get them into other shelters, it got her thinking.
They went about it in a proper way. They alerted them. They gave people time. They did outreach services. And I'm wondering why it's not happening across the rest of the city.
The city's New Hope team says it continues to work to connect homeless people to resources and recently got one person at the Commons into a tiny home. Community volunteers are also doing what they can. They say the intensive outreach at Denny Park could also help at the Commons, but not if it ends in a homeless camp sweep.
To take what little they have and upset everything seems unreasonable. So I see both sides of the coin.
Well, more than 350 new shelter spaces will be added in the coming months, which could give the city more options when it comes to dealing with problematic encampments in city parks. Back to you.
City Council member Dan Strauss, whose district includes the Ballard Commons Park, does not support more homeless camp sweeps. He says, I've continued to advocate for more resources in District 6, both outreach and shelter options, but we also need a better citywide approach.
Tonight, Everett police confirming they've secured what we now know was an explosive device outside of an apartment building. We first brought this to you as breaking news live from the scene at 6 o'clock. Komo was there as the bomb squad used a robot to help safely remove the device from the property on Broadway between Melvin and Howard Avenue. It's unclear what the device looks like, but police did confirm with us that it did not come with a written threat. No one was hurt. Right now, Mukilteo police are looking for a witness to a possible child luring. Two children told a parent that a man wearing a ski mask lunged at them this afternoon on 92nd Street Southwest. They say the man then got back in his gray car and drove off going east. If you saw anything, call Mukilteo police.
Tonight, our state is marking a milestone in the coronavirus vaccine rollout. We surpassed the governor's goal of vaccinating 45,000 people a day. The state's dashboard shows the current 7-day average is now 45,221 shots a day. Yesterday, Governor Inslee said there were a couple days last week where more than 60,000 doses were given. Nearly 9% of the state's population is now fully vaccinated. 15% have received the first dose of the 2-dose vaccine, and more than 1.8 million doses have been administered statewide.
King County is seeing significant signs of progress when it comes to getting people vaccinated. Nearly 75% of those eligible have received at least one dose. Now many are asking if the supply will continue to boost these trends with more people becoming eligible in the coming weeks. Komo's Cole Miller reports.
As we shake off this gloomy winter and that third wave of COVID-19, there's reason to be optimistic in the days ahead. Vaccinations playing a key role.
We are in a much better place today than we were a month ago.
With cases and hospitalizations of the virus trending downward, here in King County, 72% of those who are eligible for a vaccine have their first dose. 42% are fully vaccinated. In the county's southern region, there is still work to do, with case numbers there 2 to 3 times higher than the county's average.
We continue to focus our vaccination strategy to reach those parts of the county.
And across the state, vaccine supply continues to ramp up. Next week, we're set to see close to 310,000 doses, that number only increasing in both of the following weeks.
And that was Cole Miller reporting. A new mass vaccination site at Everett's Angel of the Winds Arena is one of the first in the state to offer the new one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Snohomish County received 5,000 doses from the state's first shipment. When those run out, they'll try to keep the site open if there's enough supply of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. County leaders, though, say they never know exactly how much they're going to get.
It's extremely difficult to start up and close down mass vaccination sites constantly, and if we had better numbers, we could do better planning.
The Department of Health says it won't receive more doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for at least 3 weeks. Tonight, the Department of Health reporting 784 new COVID-19 cases statewide. 9 more people have died since yesterday. Another 56 people have been hospitalized.
Looking live inside the U.S. Capitol, well after midnight, the Senate is working late into the night on the $1.9 trillion COVID relief measure. After hours of stalemate, Senate Democrats reached a deal to scale back unemployment benefits. In a concession to moderate Democrats, the new agreement will extend benefits until September 6th instead of August 29th, but at $300 per week instead of $400. All 50 Democrats need to vote in favor of the package to pass it, and it would then have to go back to the House for approval. We have a traffic alert tonight. All lanes of State Route 520 are closed now from Montlake Boulevard to the east side, and this is why crews are installing girders over the highway for the Montlake lid. 520 will be closed in both directions all weekend through 5 a.m. Monday. Another bridge closure will put an added squeeze on traffic coming in and out of West Seattle. The southbound lanes of the First Avenue Bridge will be closed tonight and tomorrow night until 6 a.m. That bridge is one of the main detours around the West Seattle Bridge closure. And starting Wednesday next week, the lane closures on the First Avenue Bridge will hit during the day. 2 of the southbound lanes will be closed around the clock until noon on Monday.
Developing tonight, Governor Inslee is urging the state legislature to pass a transportation package.
It is woefully underfunded. Our roads are becoming pothole filled. Our ferries are frequently broken down, and our bridges are now experiencing problems that we do not consider satisfactory.
He pointed to a few examples like the month-long closure of ferry service on a run in the San Juan Islands in 2019. He also says the Aurora Bridge has significantly deteriorated. Governor Inslee says the state legislature has started seriously looking at drafting some kind of transportation package. Looking ahead, First Lady Jill Biden is planning a visit to Western Washington next week to meet with military families and learn about the challenges they're facing. She's also expected to make stops at JBLM and Naval Air Station Whidbey Island on Tuesday. She plans to relaunch the Joining Forces initiative to support U.S. service members, veterans, and their families.
The Seattle School District and the Teachers Union remain at odds over a plan to return some students back to the classroom next week. The district says plans to start in-person learning for preschool and special education students will start next Thursday on March 11th. It says each building has PPE and reconfigured classrooms to keep students and staff members safe, and they're also using a dashboard to track COVID-19 cases. The Seattle Education Association released a statement saying, quote, educators are blowing the whistle on unsafe conditions and accuse the school district of resorting to bullying tactics.
Developing now, Democratic Oregon Mayor Kate Brown penned an executive order calling for all students to return to classrooms by next month. So the order calls for kindergarten through 5th graders be back in class by March 29th and April 19th for 6th through 12th graders. Her office says students or parents who want to remain in remote learning can do so. Governor Brown believes there's a low risk of transmissions in schools with proper safety measures in place. Meantime, Governor Inslee has been urging districts to move toward bringing students back to school, claiming the science shows it's safe with proper protocols in place. Today, we asked the governor's office if he could order a return to school. A spokesperson told us, quote, our legal counsel determined that the governor did not have the authority to do this. She's looking into Oregon's determination now.
Tonight, we're learning more about the man accused of attacking 2 people in Seattle's Chinatown International District. He used to work as an EMT. Court records show in 2014, Sean Holdup was fired from his job with the New York Fire Department after he allegedly attacked one coworker with a broom and threatened another with a knife. At the time, a judge said Holdup's unpredictable outburst made him unfit for the EMT job. Right now, he's facing 2 counts of second-degree assault in connection with the attack.
And this is the attack here. Right now, Seattle police say they do not have evidence that this attack was racially motivated. But today, interim Seattle Police Chief Adrian Diaz condemned an increase in hate crimes targeting the Asian community.
As a community and as a department, we will not tolerate these actions that run counter to our shared values. Living in fear is no way to live. I want to make it absolutely clear, we are here to help.
Interim Chief Diaz says SPD has a full-time detective assigned to investigate hate crimes, and it's working to hire a public safety liaison for the Chinatown International District. Last year, 14 hate crimes against Asians were reported. That's up 9 in 2019 and up 6 from 2018. I'm going to take you out to some breaking news now. We've just confirmed Des Moines police, they are on the scene of a shooting investigation. South King Fire tells Komo they responded to reports of multiple shooting victims here at 25th Avenue South. We have a crew on the scene working to get more information from police, but you can see here it is a very active investigation scene. I hear they've got crime tape around the outer limits of this home. We're going to work to gather more information, bring it to you live right here on Komo News.
Coming up, a high school volleyball player is forced to cut her hair minutes before a game. The controversy and what the school is doing about it. Drinking during a city council meeting on Zoom. Why legal experts are calling it a gray area. Plus, the wind charted a tricky course for a state ferry today. See how it was forced to come into dock sideways.
Yeah, it was a wind whip day there out on Puget Sound. We're going to see more scattered showers tomorrow, including around Mukilteo. Beautiful view of the lighthouse there is captured by Jason this evening. Some of the showers could get locally heavy with more thunder, lightning, and hail in the works. We'll talk about it coming up next.
Breaking right now in our live feeds, we want to let you know of a traffic alert. Troopers are on the scene of a deadly multi-car crash on I-5 in Olympia. Take a look at the scene from our DOT traffic cam, and you can see all lanes are pretty much blocked, and there are semi-trucks trying to move around the scene. Troopers are on scene as well as medics. It involves this car and a bus. We do know that it was a deadly collision. The car was rear-ended by a bus. It's unclear when the scene will be clear, but we'll keep an eye on this and let you know as soon as traffic is clear. New at 11, Oregon athletic officials are investigating after a high school volleyball player was forced to cut the beads from her hair before playing. Marissa Martino was halfway through warm-ups when she was told that she could not play with the beads in her hair because they violated a rule about what athletes are allowed to wear in their hair. Martino went outside and cut the beads out. She says she didn't feel like herself when she got back.
They gave me the scissors, and I went to the bathroom, and I started cutting my hair, and lots of tears and all that. And then I missed the whole first set. I wasn't in there, like in the gym, the whole first game.
State athletic officials say they contacted the National Federation about the impact of the rule on inclusiveness. The school district says they hope the rule is eliminated.
Developing now, Rochester, New York police officer is on administrative leave tonight after body camera video appears to show officers pepper spraying and handcuffing a woman who was accused of shoplifting. Now, this happened after she ran from police with her child. Then police pulled the 3-year-old from her grasp.
You steal from that store. So nothing. Hey, let me show you. Yeah, show me.
So it was at that point she took off running. Eventually, officers caught up with her, and another officer is the one that pulled the child away. So the struggle continued when it appears the woman was eventually handcuffed and then pepper sprayed. The woman was eventually charged with trespassing. That child was not hurt. This is Christina Harmon up on the upper right-hand corner, the city clerk of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, drinking a beer during a nearly 2-hour-long virtual city council meeting. Now city leaders there are facing some tough questions tonight, as some residents are calling it a bad look. Legal analysts, though, say this is a gray area.
To take acts that we would normally do in our home and say you shouldn't do those because you're on Zoom, I think is a real gray area still.
Harmon was also seen eating and then picking her teeth during the meeting. So far, Harmon hasn't spoken publicly about the matter, and neither has the city council. Taking a live look out at downtown Los Angeles tonight, some of the biggest attractions in sports stadiums across California will soon welcome guests again. The state set a roadmap for reopening amusement parks, concert venues, and sporting events starting April 1st, just in time for the opening day of Major League Baseball. Capacity would be limited based on each county's COVID-19 tier. Theme parks like Disneyland can only reopen if the county is out of the most restrictive tier, and only California residents can buy tickets.
Arizona is the latest state to open businesses at 100% capacity. It's one of 16 states that don't have a mask mandate. Tonight, the CDC is cautioning against opening up too soon, saying that a new study shows when restaurants allow in-person dining, COVID-19 cases and deaths go up. It also shows masks and mandates reduce those numbers. Here in the Northwest, more museums are reopening around Puget Sound. The Seattle Art Museum opened to the public today with a special exhibition called The American Struggle. It features narratives that have been overlooked in American history. The museum will be open Fridays through Sundays with limited capacity, and visitors must buy tickets online.
Listen to this. Amazon says they're increasing their supply of N95 masks after a call from the White House. The Biden administration reaching out to Amazon because of a shortage. Amazon says they've brought on several new American mask makers in recent weeks and will keep adding more as they get certified.
Take a look at this. The strong wind gust today forced that state ferry to do some tricky maneuvering. Our photographer shot this video as the Keystone Ferry dock on Whidbey Island. The wind was so strong, the boat was coming in to dock sideways, essentially. And not a bad view to end the day. These are just a few of the many spectacular sunset photos that you've been sharing with us on Twitter tonight. Pretty much a stunner out there. We might not be done, though, with the rain and storms this weekend. I feel like, though, if we have those drizzly, windy, cloudy days, they do make for some nice sunsets sometimes.
They do. You need something for that light to bounce off of, and we had a lot of cloud cover and some rain out there for that very reason this evening. But yeah, absolutely, more of the same. We're heading into this March weekend. It will be sunny at times and showery at others. A little bit unsettled because we'll see a chance for hail and lightning off and on throughout the weekend, too. Still locally gusty winds, especially around the waterfront areas near the ocean beaches or through the San Juans. And because temps are still running a little cool here for early March, the snow level's still down all the way to the passes. And so if you're heading over the Cascades, you're occasionally going to run into some fresh snow up there. But yes, I have some sunset shots for you as well. This one taken from the Kirkland waterfront by Rebecca Peterson this afternoon. Really a nice finish to our first Friday here in the month of March. A look at the showers continuing to march through on this Friday night. They're pretty few and far between, but those that are still falling out there are in some cases locally heavy, including this batch that you're seeing over the north end of the Kitsap Peninsula around Skunk Bay and back toward Paulsbo. Rain rates there at a good 1/3 of an inch an hour, so probably at least a heavy downpour, if not a little bit of hail in the mix there, again closer to Skunk Bay. A few of those scattered showers as well up through the northwest interior, some of which have been locally heavy all evening between Laurel and Alderwood. I'll look at downtown Seattle here from the Big Fish camera. We've got the overcast skies here on a Friday night, and you can see the damp pavement there across Elliott Bay's waterfront streets as well. It's 45 degrees right now, so it's a little bit chilly and still damp in some locations, as we saw too. Temperatures elsewhere even cooler, down into the upper 30s out of Shelton. Victoria, you have 39 there around the Empress Hotel. And a look at the big satellite picture showing that our next weather makers, this big storm offshore, it looks really similar to the one that just came on through here. So that will march in our direction as we head into the weekend. It will increase our rain again on Sunday morning and give us a chance for thunder and lightning at times as well behind it, especially Sunday afternoon. So very unsettled throughout the course of the weekend, similar to what we had out there today. Overnight tonight, we drop into the 30s to the low 40s, showers at times beneath the mainly cloudy skies. And then for our Saturday tomorrow, hit and miss scattered showers, really more dry than damp out there, but a little bit of both throughout our Saturday afternoon. Temperatures back into the upper 40s to near 50. We should be in the low 50s this time of year, so it's just a smidge below what is considered average. Upper 40s around Everett and Mukilteo, and back to about 51 out of Puyallup. Now, today it was really windy, as we saw for the ferry run there between Port Townsend and back into the San Juans. Not as gusty for us on Saturday, but still some blows up to 30, 40 miles per hour, so enough to really knock some of the boats around. Not a great day out on the waterfront. And then a chance for thunder and lightning, especially closer to the ocean beaches or back toward the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Speaking of the beaches, they'll be showery at times. We'll see past temperatures also back into the 30s tomorrow. They're crossing the Cascades. And then on the other side, temps back into the 50s and the 60s through the Columbia Basin. So a little bit milder than what we're seeing on this side of the mountains. Again, crossing the Cascades, you have to prepare for occasional snow. It will bring us a nice fresh coating of winter white up at the ski resorts again, keeping the season going. Past temperatures again, just in the 30s, so a little bit snowy and icy there over the top top of Snoqualmie Summit throughout the weekend. Again, the weekend will be unsettled. We'll see showers at times tomorrow, some thunder and lightning in the mix too, especially Sunday afternoon. And temps this weekend when we should be in the 50s, maxing out just in the mid to the upper 40s, so a little bit on the chilly side for early March. As we march into next week, it's back to bright and blue. Temps back into the mid 50s on Monday, and staying that way for most of the week ahead. So a lot to look forward to, a lot more of that spring sunshine after we get through this unsettled March weekend.
All right, thanks, Shannon. Coming up, the cost of decriminalizing drug possession. Our Operation Crime and Justice team learns how the impact of a state Supreme Court ruling could cost the state hundreds of millions of dollars. Plus, fireworks at spring training. See how the Mariners turned a rare triple play today. We'll be right back. We're going to take you back out to breaking news. Police investigating a shooting in Des Moines. Komo's Cole Miller live at the scene. Cole, what have you learned so far?
Well, Preston, we are still waiting for an official update from the public information officer. I'm told that that person is on their way to this scene, but I can tell you that this investigation is centered around this White House behind me, the police tape set up all the way around it. This is just south of Highline College here in Des Moines. South King Fire confirms that there was a call for multiple shooting victims, and that's what they were responding to. Again, still working to confirm that with police. Now, as we pan over here, there are still some police personnel. There's that ambulance there, too. When we first got to the scene at around 10:30. There were a handful of officers in the back of that ambulance talking with one man, still trying to figure out what exactly that may have been all about. We have seen officers coming and going inside of this home here. The garage door open. There's a back patio. We've seen some flashlights moving around in that direction, trying to, I guess, comb over this scene here and gather what evidence they can. But again, like you said, reports of a shooting investigation, and that's what's happening right now here at this home in Des Moines. Slim chances that we'll have any kind of an update for you by the end of this show, but as new information comes in, we'll be sure to publish that on our website, and we'll continue to follow this story overnight and into tomorrow morning. Back to you guys.
Cole, thank you. The realities of last week's state Supreme Court decision striking down the state's drug possession law are now being realized.
One lawmaker says it may cost counties and the state hundreds of millions of dollars. Komo's Matt Markovich reports the state right now is without any drug possession law.
There's no fix yet, and there may not be any political will to do so.
I think it's a good time for the legislature to think about a new approach.
State Representative Tara Simmons' perspective is unique.
You were in prison at one point, right?
I was, selling a small amount of drugs to support my habit and stealing from stores.
She's the first convicted felon elected to the state legislature, served 20 months in prison for drug-related crimes, including drug possession, the same law the state Supreme Court just ruled unconstitutional. She's not alone.
And it's more like hundreds of thousands of cases across Washington state.
And now every one of those people have a chance to change their conviction and a lot more.
And I called my criminal defense attorney and I said, hey, I'm super busy right now, but can you file the motion to vacate my possession charge and ask for my legal financial obligations to be refunded?
That was $7,417.
Automatically retroactive. And so if anyone has been convicted of simple possession of drugs under the statute, then they are entitled to relief.
And that relief is going to cost taxpayers millions.
The cost of resentencing thousands of people, vacating the records of thousands of people, refunding the fines and fees that they paid unconstitutionally, it goes into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
This was an unconstitutional statute from the moment it was passed 50 years ago. And so we have to go back and erase that from people's records. And we did immediately release the people who were being held on that crime.
Already 6 people have been released from the King County Jail because of the decision, and there could be hundreds more now in prison.
Soon the backlog of felony cases will reach 7,000. That's 3 years worth of trials, says the King County prosecutor. And right now, nobody knows who's going to have to pay all these reimbursements, the counties or the state. In Seattle, Matt Markovich reporting.
Quick reflexes and good instincts led the Mariners to turn the first triple play of 2021. Check this out. They played the White Sox today with the bases loaded. Domingo Tapia forced Jose Abreu to hit a ground ball to the third baseman Donovan Walton, who started the rare 5-2-3-2 triple play. There have only been 5 triple plays like it in Major League Baseball history, most recently by the 1955 Cubs. We'll be right back.
Well, it's the first weekend of March. Still a little bit stormy out there overnight. A stray rumble of thunder and lightning still possible with a little bit of hail in the works as well. And tomorrow, more of the same. Unsettled showers one moment, sun breaks the next. Highs tomorrow running a little cool, just in the mid to the upper 40s.
All right, thanks, Shannon. That's it for us. Stay tuned for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Come on, this is back at 6 a.m. Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Concerned about crime in your neighborhood? Alert Nest lets you look up crime in real time. Zoom in to your zip code to see what crimes are happening where you live. Compare your neighborhood to others. Alert Nest, only on KomoNews.com.
Every month is Taste Washington Wine Month if you put your mind to it, but only March has deals like this. Save 20% on select Washington wines at QFC when you buy 6 bottles. It's time to celebrate your state and support local farmers and families.
It's happening more often, and it's not surprising. People are seeking out new places, trying new things, and discovering the best part is often hidden in the journey along the way. Find yourself in the Mazda CX-30. Want more power for your pursuit? Introducing the Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive.
Don't miss Rich's annual home show sale. Massive once-a-year discounts at all Rich's showrooms. Save up to 50% off the Northwest's largest selection of quality outdoor furniture and fire pits. Rich's, 6 locations, including Mount Vernon.
Gillette Pro Glide. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke. So you're ready for the day with a fresh face for a fresh start. For a limited time, get a 5th cartridge free.
Ordinary tissues burn when Theo blows. So Dad bought Puffs Plus lotion and rescued his nose. With up to 50% more lotion, Puffs brings soothing softness and relief. A nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Nominate a star. Join Premier Blue Cross Broadway at the Paramount in celebrating essential workers. Make a nomination at BroadwayAtTheParamount.com/nominate. 5 winners receive 4 tickets to a show the upcoming season of Broadway at the Paramount.
The wine the world is talking about comes from right here, and that's worth celebrating. This is Taste Washington Wine Month, which means awesome deals all over the state, all month long. So raise a glass and support your local farmers and families.
Komo Morning News, weekdays 4:30.